we had lost touch with the younger generation. And a lot of the questions I got when I started was, is Ralph Lauren still relevant?
For years, Ralph Lauren leaned heavily on discounts and overexpansion, eroding the exclusivity that built its name. But in recent years, the company has worked to overhaul its strategy and win over a younger generation. Now, the brand is back in the cultural spotlight, from the US Open to elaborate fashion shows and even a viral Taylor Swift dress moment.
So Taylor Swift's dress she just got engaged in is on sale from Ralph Lauren for under $350 right now.
For the first time in nearly a decade, the company's revenue topped $7 billion, and growing segments like women's apparel are taking off.
56% of our shoppers in stores online are actually women.
And now, Ralph Lauren is looking ahead, experimenting with AI.
If we can figure out how to do what we do better with the aid of technology, fantastic.
Here's how Ralph Lauren pulled off one of fashion's biggest turnarounds and what it takes to stay relevant in a rapidly shifting luxury market. Here on Madison Avenue sit two of Ralph Lauren's most iconic flagship stores. The sprawling retail locations carry men and women's polos, sweaters, and other preppy mainstays the brand is famous for, alongside growing segments like handbags, outerwear, and luxury home goods. Since taking the helm in 2017, CEO Patrice Louvet has doubled down on Ralph Lauren's roots while expanding into new categories and rethinking the retail experience. Well, let's talk a little bit about the branding, because here we are in the mansion. It's opulent, it's luxurious. It could seem exclusive, but in fact, it is welcoming. So can you tell me a little bit about how the company manages that balance of being luxury and high-end, but without being, unfriendly?
Well, Ralph's philosophy from the beginning has been this concept of inspiring the dream of a better life, irrespective of where you come from or what your income level is. And so our price ranges today go for, a pack of tennis socks that might be $15 all the way to, we recently sold a $320,000 watch. We want to create an environment that's aspirational, but engaging and inviting. Right? And this notion of inclusive luxury is really important to us. You have 15-year-olds coming in here, and you have billionaires.
But Ralph Lauren's luxury empire didn't start this way. In 1967, from a small office in the Empire State Building, Ralph Lauren launched Polo, wide, colorful neckties that stood out in an era of thinner styles. Over the next 2 decades, Ralph Lauren branched into full men's and women's collections and created cultural touchpoints like outfitting Team USA. By the 2010s, the company was stretched too thin. Ralph Lauren was suffering from brand dilution, with excessive discounting, multiple sub-brands, and an over-reliance on struggling department stores. By 2018, revenue had fallen more than 16% in just 2 years. The Ralph Lauren story was growing by leaps and bounds for years, and then one could argue it overextended itself. What was your feeling about how to address that?
Yeah, I think it happens to a lot of companies across industries. All right, great success, high expectations of continued great success. And when there's pressure like that, there's a temptation to broaden distribution. There's a temptation to increase promotional activity. I think of it as the boiled frog phenomenon, which is you say, just do a little bit more. It'll be fine. It won't impact us overall. But as you do more and more of that little bit, ultimately you're damaging the brand. Our challenge was here in the US, where we went too broad, we were too promotional, and we had to pull back. And yes, it's painful, but it's mandatory.
Now, Louvet is steering Ralph Lauren into an era built on brand elevation. In recent years, the luxury brand has sharpened its focus on core products, attracted younger customers, improved the shopping experience, and pulled back from its heavy reliance on discounts and wholesale. So far, it appears to be working, with margins rising and revenue at a 9-year high. How did you get young people on board with this brand?
And we did a lot of work to understand what was relevant for that younger generation, where they wanted to shop, how they wanted to engage, which values mattered most to them. And what we're finding is the Ralph Lauren values of authenticity, family, optimism, quality, timelessness, those resonate with that younger generation. And they resonate with that younger generation here in New York or in Shanghai or in Milan.
Ralph Lauren reinforces those brand values through experiences, from in-store coffee shops designed to draw in younger shoppers, to long-running sports partnerships that spotlight the brand.
Ralph's partnership with the US Open started 20 years ago, Wimbledon, Australian Open, Olympics. So if you look at where we are now, what we're finding is we want to celebrate what's on the court, but actually the thing that's most interesting is showing style in the audience, or the fans, and how the fans dress and how their styles vary.
Beyond sports, Ralph Lauren's shows continue to lean into spectacle. The 2024 Hamptons show turned equestrian stables into a runway, with supermodels Christy Turlington and Naomi Campbell walking before a celebrity-packed crowd. At the same time, Ralph Lauren is ramping up marketing and sharpening its retail strategy. In 2022, it singled out 30 global cities as key markets. It's fueling that push with its largest ever marketing budget, over $500 million. There are a lot of cities in the world.
You are.
And a lot of cities that have a lot of shoppers. 30 only hits, obviously, a very small portion of it. What's the rationale for that?
I think our experience, and when you look at the industry, is when you overextend yourself, you end up diluting the brand, you end up diluting your resources, and therefore you end up diluting your performance.
Yeah.
So listen, we're not here for another quarter, we're not here for another 3 years, we're here for another 50 years. So we got plenty of time to go hit the other cities in the world.
Yeah.
China, for me, is a wonderful example. I think there's still a lot of growth to be had in Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen, Chengdu, Taipei, Hong Kong, right? Those are massive cities, tens of millions of inhabitants. Once we feel like we're fully established, then we'll continue to drive that business, and then we'll start to open the white space.
Yeah.
You dilute yourself, you might see the benefits short term, but ultimately it impedes your ability to perform consistently.
Clothing and fashion, by definition, there is the risk of misfires. Tell me a little bit about, for you, where's the balance between not playing it too safe, but also not going crazy with wild stuff that could flop?
So we have the benefit of decades of presenting core items that consumers know and recognize really well. Our cable knit sweaters, our polo shirts, our Oxford shirts, right? Our tweed jackets, like quintessential Ralph Lauren. That's job one. Job one is how do we continue to present that, animate that, engage the new generation with these types of products, right? And this ability to leverage our core products across generations, I think, has served us really well.
Womenswear and handbags have also become major growth engines. Womenswear alone now brings in about $2 billion a year. And in the last fiscal year, Ralph Lauren's bag sales jumped by a double-digit percentage.
56% of our shoppers in stores online are actually women. It's less than a third of our business. So for us, it's a massive opportunity. Within that, we realized that the handbag category was significantly underdeveloped for us. It's part of the overall lifestyle. And we've gotten some really nice traction behind some of the more recent innovation.
These moves have helped Ralph Lauren sidestep the challenges facing much of the luxury market. In 2024, the luxury industry saw its first major slowdown since the Great Recession, as shoppers questioned whether high-end fashion still delivered on quality and creativity. Luxury giants like LVMH, Burberry, and Kering all missed revenue targets that year. While some companies responded by pushing prices higher, Ralph Lauren says it doubled down on its core values. What do stores need to be for you? What does a typical Ralph Lauren store have to do to really justify its existence?
It needs to be an experience, right? Because I can get the product online. It needs to be a place where, you want to come, you want to discover it, you want to have an amazing engagement with sales associates, you want to discover the different dimensions of the Ralph Lauren lifestyle. You might not buy the first time, but you'll come back and want to feel that. And that's the bar that we set for ourselves.
Like many companies in the luxury retail space, Ralph Lauren is also experimenting with artificial intelligence.
We dreamt of the day when we'd be able to do something like this.
That's David Lauren, the company's Chief Branding and Innovation Officer, and the son of founder Ralph Lauren. In September, he helped launch Ask Ralph, a generative AI shopping tool that lets customers ask style questions and get product recommendations. David, tell me a little bit about Ask Ralph, the AI style assistant. I mean, how long have you been working on it? What customer did you have most in mind when this was being developed?
Yeah. Well, the idea for Ask Ralph really started 25 years ago. We launched RalphLauren.com, which was really the first luxury fashion website. At the time, we had a sort of archaic version of Style Guide, where Ralph Lauren himself actually answered style questions, and it was very popular. When you get dressed in the morning, clothes help give you a sense of confidence, a sense of identity, a sense of who you are and who you want to be. And the ability to pull out of your back pocket, a companion to help give you that sensibility is Ralph. So literally, our dream one day is that Ralph himself will be using this to gut check an idea.
The company says that what sets this tool apart is its use of Ralph Lauren's full inventory to suggest complete brand-approved outfits. Ask Ralph can answer prompts and offer curated looks pulled directly from its collections. Do you see this as a tool that in-store employees could use as they help a customer as well?
I think the goal of this is to not only help our customers, but to help our own employees. The better educated our team can be, the more consistent our voice can be all around the world, the more valuable it's going to be. In many ways, Ask Ralph is a new employee.
Even as Ralph Lauren regains its cultural cachet, the wider fashion industry is battling economic headwinds. Shoppers are becoming more price conscious, especially in the US, where discount and value-focused retailers like TJ Maxx are thriving. That pressure has forced Ralph Lauren to rethink how it reaches customers. During COVID, Duvet leaned into his strategy to open more Ralph Lauren stores and continue exiting weak department stores. As for its supply chain, it now stretches from Vietnam to Peru, and the brand is well positioned to weather global trade disruptions, including tariff wars. Before all the tariffs drama of 2025, Ralph Lauren had done a lot of work to not be too reliant on the same suppliers. Can you tell me a little bit about what that looks like now and what was the rationale for doing that?
We were very dependent when our team started some 8-9 years ago on a few geographies from a sourcing standpoint and a few suppliers. And in an environment that's uncertain and volatile, you cannot do that, right? So significant diversification. Now, there's not one market that's more than 20%. We generally have dual sourcing, if not triple sourcing, across our entire portfolio. The other piece is agility. And I don't think people would have used the term agility to describe Ralph Lauren 10 years ago. And I think in a world that's so dynamic, the ability to be nimble, move production from market A to market B. And I'm actually really proud of the work the teams have done on this front, because I think agility is a unique strength now at Ralph Lauren.
Ralph Lauren also carries the weight of being a symbol of Americana at a time sentiment abroad towards the US is shifting. Despite these pressures, Ralph Lauren continues to anchor itself in the vision laid out by its founder. So I want to ask you a little bit about your working relationship with Mr. Lauren himself. Tell us a little bit about how you work with him.
Ralph and I spent a lot of time up front making sure we're on the same page, making sure we had a consistent ambition for the company, making sure that we valued the same things, value with a big V, and making sure that we were going to push the same direction. And we talked about what business are we in, right? Because I think that's a fundamental question for all companies, is just clarity on what business are you really in. And we concluded that we were in the dreams business, not in the apparel business, not in the fashion business, we're in the dreams business.